Conversation. We never forget football on Get Up. We'll do some burning questions in this hour from the AFC, and then we'll jump to the NFC in hour number 2. So Aaron Rodgers, here's your story today. He's expected to visit the Pittsburgh Steelers this weekend and is likely to return to play for them this year. That's according to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport. So we've got Dominique Foxworth, we have Dan Graziano, we have Tim Hasselbeck. Nico, we'll start with you. It looks like Rodgers is going to be back as was expected. What is this team's ceiling with him at quarterback? I had a bad feeling he couldn't hear me. I could sort of tell from what was going on in my background. Do any of the football guys hear me? As to the universal sign for no, if no one is responding in my ear. So I'll just tell you right now, I think the Steelers' ceiling is probably even lower than it was before. This is no obvious reason to think this team is getting better. The division, I think, is. If anything, I think they will likely get worse. I'm told Dominique Foxworth is back. Nick, what do you think the Steelers' ceiling is this year with Rodgers?
Yeah, I mean, their ceiling's pretty low. I think that they could go on a good run and possibly make the playoffs and do the same thing they've been doing for a while. But I think the scarier part about them is I think their floor is probably lower than it's been in a long time, because without Mike Tomlin, it seems as if they are not exactly on the same page with Aaron Rodgers, and that defense that underachieved last year is a little bit older.
Graziano?
Yeah, I mean, the feeling with the Steelers is the same as it's been. I mean, they've won 10 games exactly 3 years in a row. They haven't won a playoff game in 9 years. Aaron Rodgers finished 23rd in QBR last year, which is his highest finish in that category since 2021. The Steelers are treading water, and frankly, there's a non-zero chance that Tomlin was the coach that was holding it all together, and this is the year they bottom out. I don't think Aaron Rodgers does a whole lot at this point in his career to ward off that possibility. I think we saw the best we're going to see out of Aaron Rodgers last year. And again, 23rd in QBR, 10-win season, ugly first-round playoff loss. I think when you talk ceiling, that's what the Steelers have, and that's where they're stuck.
What do you think, Tim Hasselbeck?
Yeah, I agree with the guys. Look, I mean, is there a chance that Aaron's better than young players like Will Howard and Drew Aller that, haven't played really in the NFL? Like, yeah, potentially. But I think there's also this element of at some point you need to reset and understand that you need to go find a quarterback of the future. And that doesn't mean that Howard or Aller, are that guy, but at least it gives you a chance to evaluate him and then figure out if you need to find the quarterback of the future a year from now. I think rerunning it with Aaron, as the guys said, look, there's going to be a limit to it, based on what the team looks like. And then I think just because of the changeover, look, I think there's reason to believe that, look, the floor is probably significantly lower as well, which would really make rerunning it a bad idea for the organization.
Yes, I think Rodgers may be the best option they have. That may say more about them right now than it says about him. My next burning question, Graziano, will start with you. I'm telling you right now, one of these three quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, or Joe Burrow, is making it to the Super Bowl this year. Which one are you telling me it is?
I'm going to go with Burrow. And the reason is, I think this is his year to stay healthy, right? It says sort of every other year where he misses significant time with injuries, and he did last year. The Bengals look like they have about the third or fourth easiest schedule based on how their opponents did last year. I believe they only have 4 games all year against teams that had winning records last year. They obviously worked on the defense. They're the only team in their division that didn't change head coaches this offseason. There's a level of stability there right now, and I think there's reason to be encouraged about a team that has shown with its quarterback healthy it can get that far.
Tim, you agree?
I don't. I mean, listen, the Bengals as an organization, I think some of their decisions in terms of how they've built their team, I just don't trust that they would have success. Look, there's obviously change the other two places. I'm betting on Josh Allen. To me, he's the best, most reliable player out of the three. They're all spectacular, but Josh has been healthier. He's been more dependable. He's, so I guess if I'm looking at it in terms of the way Lamar's kind of fallen apart at times late in the year, the way Burrow hasn't been able to stay healthy for multiple seasons, I would put my money on the guy that's just been better, more reliable, more consistent, even though I don't necessarily love the changes in Buffalo.
I got one vote for Joe. I got one vote for Josh. Dominique, how about you?
Yeah, I'm more partial to Tim than Graz, but I think I'm not going to surprise anybody by saying I would pick the Ravens. Like I heard Graz say stability in the Bengals in the same sentence, which threw me for a loop because the organization, despite the fact that they've changed the head coach, the organization that feels like the most stable is always the Ravens. And I think while Josh has been much better quarterback in the playoffs, I think it takes a team to build or takes a team to make a run in the playoffs. And I think that this team has gotten better on the defensive side of the ball, particularly with their addition at edge with Hendrickson, and they've addressed their guard issue through the draft. Like I like this team a little bit better than I like the Bills. And yeah, the Bengals, that stability that you're talking about is not necessarily good stability. I'm not sure that it's a benefit that they kept all the same pieces in place.
All right, so I got one vote for each of the three quarterbacks, which is exactly the way at this time of year it probably should be. Finally, let me show you the odds at DraftKings.com and the AFC West, where it looked last year, for all intents and purposes, that the Chiefs were falling apart, but in reality, they remain the favorites. They are favored to win the division despite Patrick Mahomes being hurt and despite the Chargers and the Broncos, and candidly, even the Raiders looking like they're going to be significantly improved. Tim, do you agree the Chiefs are the favorites to win the AFC West?
I don't. I sort of think there's so much uncertainty. When you think Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL late in the year, this wasn't a September ACL injury. And so I think that has to be taken into consideration. They really haven't done anything at wide receiver to think that they would be better. You look at, Kelsey's only getting older. Sure, Kenneth Walker's a nice addition, but to me, they've been a defensive-led team and disappointing for a number of years. To me, it's the Chargers for me. Think of the injuries they had a year ago in the season they still had. I can't imagine they're going to sustain injuries the way they did a year ago. A really good running attack. I think a solid defense. I think the Chargers are kind of a slept-on team as we sit this time of year.
Quickly, Neek, who do you like in that division?
Yeah, I agree with Tim. I think the Chargers are slept on in the season, but the preseason, they're always one of the favorites. But I do think he's right. That offensive line will be great if they can stay healthy, especially those tackles. The defense is solid despite losing their head coach to the Ravens, losing their coordinator to the Ravens. But yeah, I like that team to finally make the leap and challenge in that division.
And Dan?
It's tough, but I agree. I think we're all going to I feel terrible that we all agree on the Chargers, who always let you down. But the Chiefs, it's all about Mahomes, and the idea of him coming back and playing week one and being himself right away feels a little far-fetched, might take a little time into the season.
All right, we'll talk about the NFC big questions a little bit later. No one picking Denver.
He is saying it is between the Jets' backup quarterback job or, your job as a TV analyst. Fraud or laud, Mike T?
We're going to go with laud. We want Russell Wilson to be in beautiful Florham Park enjoying the resurgent New York Jets. I think he would be ideal as an experienced backup with Geno Smith. He's played in 205 games, started 202. He has a ton of experience. If we go back a year ago, guys, Tyrod Taylor, even Brady Cook had to play. Justin Fields didn't work out. So let's give the Jets much-needed stability at the quarterback position. And more importantly, let's keep Russell Wilson away from taking my job.
Correct.
Because he'll be great on TV one day.
All right, yeah, one day.
Fraud or laud with Russell Wilson just doesn't have the same ring to it. You know what I mean?
No, it doesn't. And that's why Mike T wins another prize.
Correct.
Mike T, which door are you picking today?
Door number 3.
Okay, door number 3, we are sending you to WWE Backlash
Come on,
tomorrow in Tampa. And Dan Housen says he has a mystery tag team partner.
Let's go.
Could it be Mike T?
Tannenbaumhausen.
Tannenbaumhausen.
Been hitting the weights. Got a fraud team guy.
Fraud or Laudhausen? I'm here. I'm here for it.
Let's
hey,
go.
Careful.
Put the guns away.
Those suit seams are gonna be screaming here.